Hello, my dear friends. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Please, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. God bless you and thank you. Today, we are going to have a summary of Monday and Tuesday lessons of our lesson 11. And Monday talks about the year-day principle, and Tuesday talks about identifying the little horn. Okay, when we come to Monday, the year-day principle, when you go to Numbers 14:34 and Ezekiel 4:6, God has made mention of a day being a year. Like in Ezekiel 4:6, God said he told Ezekiel that he would lie at his one side for 40 days, and he has given him a day as a year, meaning Ezekiel is going to lie at his one side without changing for what? 40 years. Now, when you come to this year-day principle, that's what historicism used to interpret prophecies, which includes Daniel and Revelation. Unlike Numbers and Ezekiel, where God mentioned, or the Bible mentioned that God said, I've given you a day as a year. So the 40 days stands for 40 years. In Daniel and in Revelation, the quotations there doesn't mention a day as a year. The Bible will just say 2,300 days or 70 weeks. Just like that in Daniel and in Revelation. There is nowhere that it says that the 70 weeks stands for this. So how are we able to apply, or how do we apply this year-day principle to fit in Daniel and Revelation, so that we know that the 70 weeks there or the 2,300 days there is not literal as days that we have, but it stands for years. Okay, the lesson gave us some three elements that we should look at. And the first is that the symbolic nature of the beasts and horns representing kingdoms suggests that the time expressions also should be understood as symbolic. And so when you go to Daniel and Revelation, the kingdoms mentioned there, God uses what? Animals and symbols. It didn't mention straight away. Like when you go to Daniel 2, the dream Nebuchadnezzar had, the symbol that was an image. And that image divided into four stands for what? 4 kingdoms. Then Daniel 7, Daniel 8, and Daniel 9, all those animals there were symbolic. And so if everything in those everything in Daniel are symbolic, they are not literal, then it means that we cannot take the times stated there or the days stated there as what? As literal. That should also be what? Symbolic. And the second is that many of the events and kingdoms depicted in the prophecies cover a span of many centuries. And so the events, Media-Persia taking over from Babylon, didn't happen like in a day. It took centuries before it happened. And after Media-Persia too, it took centuries before Greece took over. And so it shows that the time stated there is not just literal as we take, as it is, because when these times, the space of time these kingdoms took over from each other should be calculated in years. It fits exactly the days that have been mentioned in the book of Daniel and Revelation. And the final one is that the peculiar expressions used to designate this time period suggest a symbolic interpretation. In other words, the ways in which time is expressed in these prophecies, like 2,300 evenings and mornings in Daniel 8, shows that it cannot be just literal. And so if the calculation is being made, you realize that that prophecy cannot fit in just days. It's years that the Bible is talking about. And so we're given like the 70-week prophecy in Daniel 9 verses 24 to 27. And the lesson is in that we read that the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, that is Jesus Christ, will be a literal 69 weeks, or just 1 year and 4 months and 1 week. And so this, if we should take it literal as in 70 weeks, literal, 69 weeks, 70 weeks or 69 weeks, literal as it is. Just the Bible is saying 70 weeks, so we'll take it literal. Then it means we are saying it's going to be 1 year. When you calculate the 70 weeks, it's going to be 1 year, 4 months. But when we look at Bible, it didn't take 1 year, 4 months for that prophecy to be fulfilled. And so it shows that that prophecy fulfilled it took 490 years before that prophecy was fulfilled. So it shows that we cannot take the days stated in Daniel and Revelation, 2,300 days or 70 weeks, or just as it stated there, literal as it is, to mean that just not days, but they are all what? Symbolic. Therefore, we can apply the principle from Ezekiel and Numbers and other Bible verses where God said a day stands for a year. Okay, when we come to Tuesday, which talks about identifying the little horn. When we read Daniel 7 and Daniel 8, it talks about the little horn. But studies have come to conclude that the little horn represents Roman Church. How were we able to make that conclusion? Now let's look at some common characteristics that Daniel 7 and Daniel 8 talks about. Daniel 7 and Daniel 8 talks about the fact that the little horn, they are both described as a horn. Both are persecuting powers. And this little horn, the both Bible verses talks about the fact that they are self-exalting and blasphemous. They speak big words, talk as if they are God, they have power. Both target God's people. And then also both have aspects of their activity delineated by prophetic time. Both extend until the end of time. And also both are to be supernaturally destroyed. And so these are some of the characteristics the Bible talks about the little horn. So we are going to look into history and see if this characteristics fits the Roman Church as it has been said. Now, history identifies the first kingdom as Babylon, the second as Media Persia, and the third as Greece. History is unequivocal that after these world empires comes Rome. So after Greece, the next empire that came was what? Rome. And after Rome, no other kingdom or no other empire came again, because the Bible in Daniel 2 states that the feast lasted to the end of the day, that is until the second coming of Jesus Christ. No other kingdom came to replace Rome. And we know that when in prophecy, we know that Daniel 7 and Daniel 8 and Daniel 9, all those prophecies there is the same as Daniel 2, just that the symbols are different, but the interpretation is the same as Daniel 2. And so the four beasts there represent the four kingdoms that the image represents in Daniel 2. And so he said in Daniel 2, the iron representing Rome continues into the feet of iron mixed with clay. That is until the end of time. The little horn of Daniel 7 comes forth from the fourth beast, but remains part of this fourth beast. So that little horn that came out from the fourth beast, it didn't come from a separate place. It is part of the fourth beast, meaning that power, the papacy, came out of the Roman Empire. It is not a separate power coming from somewhere. It came out from the Roman Empire. Okay, so he said the little horn of Daniel 7 comes forth from the fourth beast, but remains part of this fourth beast, just as I said. So what power came out of Rome and continues its political religious influence for at least 1,260 years, and that is the papacy, and this is according to prophecy. The papacy. Okay, so the papacy came into power among the 10 barbarian tribes of Europe and uprooted 3 of them, just as the prophecy says, according to the fourth beast. When the horn came out, the little horn came out, it uprooted 3 of them. Okay, the papacy was different from the previous ones, indicating its uniqueness compared to the other tribes. The papacy spoke pompous words against the Most High. So these are some of the things the papacy did. That that confirms the characteristics of the little horn. He spoke pompous words. The papacy spoke pompous words against the Most High and exalted himself as high as the prince of the host by usurping the role of Jesus and replacing it with the Pope. The papacy fulfilled the prediction of persecuting the saints of the Most High and casting down some of the hosts. The papacy sought to change times and law by removing the second commandment and changing the Sabbath to Sunday. And so we see the things the papacy did at that time, it's equal to the characteristics of what the little horn that Daniel 7 and Daniel 8 talks about, which shows that the prophecy is about the Roman Catholic Church, who have the Pope as their what, as their supremo, or as their head. So the footnote says that in Daniel 2, Daniel 7, and Daniel 8, after Greece, one power arises that exists to the end of time. What power could that be other than Roman, or other than Rome? Now in its papal stage, no matter how politically incorrect, why is this a crucial teaching of the three angels' messages and hence a crucial component of present truth? So this is a crucial component of present truth. This is the time we need to preach more about it so that people will know that prophecy is fulfilling itself. Thank you so much, my dear, for watching. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for subscribing. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing for me. Thank you, and God richly bless you. Bye-bye.